Hey, good morning. Welcome to American Reversion. How are you all today, all you reversionists? I forgot to say, now that we're back on track, now that we're doing this, and now that politics is actually interesting again. I know you can say, well, it was interesting before, and it was the same old stuff. Same old stuff. But now it's getting interesting with these holdouts on the Republican side for the speaker vote. What a good job I think they're doing. So now that we're back on track, I forgot to mention to you all, for those of you who may be new, that this is brought to you by The Reversion. It's named after my first book, The Reversion, about coming back from a calamity, catastrophe, a collapse. This is a little bit different. This is about a CME, but the collapse of our country could be compared to that, couldn't it? And I want to welcome all the new people. By the way, I should also ask, please like this and please subscribe if you're not already. I think we're going to be talking about some important things here. And please share this with people that you think may think like we do, or not. Share it with those who may need a little adjustment. But share it. And it's not just what I may be saying, but it gives you the opportunity to put in the comments down there your thoughts. Then that gets out to other people. And those comments are very, very smart and very helpful. It's going to help a lot of people who may not have thought about it the way you do. So if you will do that, if you share it and then you comment, it's going to let people hear first what I have to say. Excuse me, I left my mic laying on the... I hope you've heard everything up till now. Probably have. I'll put it back there. But it's going to give them the opportunity to hear what you have to say too. And that can really have an effect on people. It really, really can. Okay, we have another moron. The Republican Party has no shortage of morons, but another one has raised their little traitorous head and called those holding out against Kevin the Worm terrorists, kind of like that. I'm going to read this. It's a very short article on Breitbart, but it's worth the read, and then we'll talk about it. The headline says, GOP Representative Bacon, I have no idea who he is. I guess I'll remember when I read the body of the article again. He says, House Republicans voting against McCarthy speakership, quote, like terrorism. Okay, that was the headline writer taking a little bit of liberty with what he said, or maybe he did say that. That is not included in the body of the article. I don't know, but you're going to see that was essentially true. Okay, Representative Don Bacon, Republican from Nebraska. Okay, Nebraska. What's Nebraska? Nebraska is usually thought of as, fairly conservative. I mean, farm, wheat, cattle, things like that. But like so many of the states out here in the Great Plains, Kansas being one, the state full of good, solid, conservative-minded people is run by the cities full of less than conservative people, right? Up in here in Kansas, it's Johnson County, which has become purple, Wyandotte County, which is pure red, Douglas County, where the University of Kansas is, and what is it? Shawnee County, where the state capital is. So a whole lot of government workers and a lot of low-income people. Okay, Democrats, and Sedgwick County down in Wichita. Okay, so these main population centers pretty much drive a large state, which is full mostly of very conservative people. So up in Nebraska, it's run by Omaha and Lincoln. For the most part, Lincoln, where the university is, used to have good football. So that's where he's from. It's not really, these people aren't really strong conservatives. So he said, this Representative Don Bacon said Thursday on CNN's The Lead, well, he's on CNN, right? So you know that he is massaging his message. Sorry, I got to clear that throat. He's massaging his message for the CNN people because he wants to be invited back by Jake Tapdancer, and he wants to make friends, right? He wants to be seen as the reasonable Republican. You know what a reasonable Republican is? He's a sellout, you know. Okay, so he says on the lead that his Republican colleagues refusing to support Republican leader Kevin the Worm McCarthy, Republican California, what does that tell you? Okay, for Speaker of the House were like terrorists. When anchor Jake Tapdancer asked about former Representative Denver Riggleman, Republican of Virginia, saying, I have no idea who he was. He could be a Democrat in Republican clothing for all I know. So anyway, he's asked about Riggleman, saying, and doesn't that name kind of give you an idea what he might kind of wriggles and wiggles? Okay? Saying that, quote, that he worked in counterterrorism and you can't negotiate with terrorists. Actually, you can. And it's a hard negotiation. I happen to know a little bit about that. I'm not going to tell you why. And you can't, Bacon said, I feel that way. So he does, huh? He feels that way. Okay. He continued, we were talking about that today. Hostage takers at least have a goal. So he is comparing the holdout, the actual conservative people, he's comparing them unfavorably with hostage takers. He's saying, well, at least hostage takers have a goal and they have demands. We've met those demands and still they don't get to yes. Well, they haven't met all the demands, and there's lies coming out of there if you've been paying attention. They refuse to get to yes. They've been offered everything but one demand. What is that one demand? That we've not gone to. Well, go to it then. So this is more like terrorism, and you're right. He added, their constituents at some point are going to say this is baloney. No, they're not. You know what their constituents are saying? They're saying, finally, somebody is standing up to these go-along Republicans, to the worms and the snakes and the turtles. Finally, we have a group of people who are standing up and saying, no, you're not going to do it the same way anymore. You know, that's interesting. Everybody gets up and says, no more, we're going to change. Washington is broken. Like that idiot Eye Patch Crenshaw said. What was the name? I don't remember, whatever he was. But you know, he says, you can't just talk in platitudes, about Washington is broken. Yes, it's broken. It's broken. Everybody says it's broken. That's what you ran on, and every other Republican up there says it's broken. We have to change it. And then when people come up and actually make some demands and put up a fight and say, we're going to change it, oh, no, you're a bunch of terrorists. So as far as their constituents, at some point, he goes on, Mr. Bacon, are going to say this is baloney. I disagree with that. They're saying, good for you. I'm glad I've got a strong representative. We've had enough. You're derailing the conservative agenda. No, they're supporting, they're promoting, and holding to the conservative agenda against the little mealy mouth worm, Kevin. And I think that's hopefully going to have some impact over time. I know I interjected a lot of commentary in that, so let me give his one or two sentences the attention they deserve. All right, he says, their constituents at some point, that's probably how he talks, I don't know, are going to say this is baloney. We've had enough. Stomp, stomp. You're derailing the conservative agenda. And I think that's hopefully going to have some impact over time. Well, maybe it'll have some impact over time, Mr. Bacon. Maybe they will replace you up there in Nebraska with somebody who's, somewhat close to conservative. So Bacon concluded, we are already seeing the outcry of people say this is wrong, what they are doing. I hear it in our district. I hear it on talk shows. I hear from conservative commentators. Oh yeah, Sean the Pawn Hannity? Is that what you got, Sean the Pawn? Is that who you heard it from? Well, Sean the Pond kind of backed up last night on something. He realized he stepped over the line. He gave himself away to people who really didn't realize yet who he truly was. So, yeah, you've heard it from conservative commentators. So, he's listening to the people that he wants to, and he's passing this along. This is just total BS. Mr. Bacon, you've lost your sizzle. And I like sizzling bacon as much as anybody. You have lost your sizzle. So you've heard it in your district. You've heard it on talk shows. You've heard it from conservative commentators. So you think it's time. I think it's time. We can have some success here. I'll tell you, have you had success? You know what? I'll tell you what. These people, these rebels, these people that are standing up for conservative principles and say, Kevin the Worm, here are our demands. They are playing politics, and they are starting to play politics hardball. You know what? Our squealy little Republicans can't stand? They can't stand the fact that some people in their caucus, I like how they always, in our caucus, in our conference, they can't stand the fact that some people in their conference are actually playing the kind of hardball that they so love to surrender to in the Democrats. Oh no! We have people inside our own camp who have learned how to stand up for principles. They've learned how to play hardball. They're holding our feet to the fire. This can't be. They're a bunch of terrorists. You all go out there, you little Bacons and Crenshaws and Eye Patch and all this. Well, I wish I could remember what I call that moron. Ben Crenshaw, you're a moron. Okay, that pretty much covers it. You're a little baby trying to ride the wave of your military service, getting all the people who won't look beyond that to support you and say, you can't criticize him. He was a veteran. He was a SEAL. No, you're an idiot. And you're not standing up for the Constitution that you like to go on about how you swore a lifelong oath to uphold. Yeah, have you? Well, then have you done it? You just roll over like the rest of them. And in my eyes, I've seen you do things that were even more questionable, shall we say, than many of the other people here, like Mr. Non-Sizzling Bacon, have done. So, enough of your, imperious indignation over this. These people aren't terrorists. These are people standing up for what's right. And they're holding your feet to the fire, and you can't stand it. You can't stand it because you don't know how to deal with it. You are embarrassed by the fact that other people are showing the kind of courage you should have. But you can't because you don't have it in you. You don't have it in you. It was probably never there. Either it was never there or you sold it out to become part of the club up there in D.C. And I think, hey, one of those two, I don't care which, you don't have it. You don't have it. Okay, so we've got this. The rebellion is growing, guys. It is growing. Now, they're going through the process now to see if Kevin the Worm can get the votes that he needs. And what is this, the 11th vote? The 11th vote? These people, the Freedom Caucus, they have shown, and you know what I'm a little bit disappointed in? I'll interject this here. Where is Marjorie Taylor Greene in this? Why is she opposing this? Why is she opposing Boebert? But these people are standing up, and they are showing how a minority can have a great effect on the direction that their party, their conference, and the government, and thereby the country, can go. You see, the Democrats always knew how to do that. They took a conglomeration of a whole bunch of loud, complaining victims, smashed them all together into one big mud ball, and made it a cohesive, a cohesive political power. But when one small group of conservatives stands their ground, first off, it makes all the rhinos want to run for the bushes. Complaining, of course, first, trying to fight it out in the media, which are their good friends, the media. Which is against you. They're against me. They're against us. The media is is the enemy through which our other enemies filter the information. But they're standing up. So let's watch this. Let's watch this. We'll see what happens if the worm turns, if he can survive this 11th. I'm trying to get my computer back up here. It went to sleep on me. If he can survive this, let's see here. Watch live. Let's see if they're giving any kind of figures here. It's happening now. Oh, let's see. Day 3.
Would you pray with me?
Oh, okay, we're going to start with a prayer. I'm going to set that off so I don't get a strike. Yeah, would you pray for me? I'll ask you to pray for me. Lord, guide our country. Do with our country, not with what it deserves, but try to turn it around. That's our prayer. I think that's the prayer of these holdouts. So anyway, let me know what you think. Put your comments down there. Again, I'm going to ask, please give this a thumbs up if you agree. Please make sure that you are subscribed. Please share this. These are interesting times coming. And then leave your comment. What do you think? This is your chance on this channel to have an effect on other people as well. Okay? Because when other people watch this, maybe, and it's the middle ground that we fight for, right? Some people feel like us, others never will. But it's that middle ground that we fight for. And they come on and they hear me bloviating. And then if they can read, oh, it's not just him. There are other reasonable people down here expressing these opinions. It can have its effect. Have your effect. This is one of the ways you fight back. Remember, like we say, America needs a reversion and needs you to be a part of it. Brought to you by the reversion. It needs everybody to be a part of it. And being part of this, leaving your comments, is one way that you can be a part of it. Okay, we'll see what happens today. I'll be back tomorrow to talk a little bit more about that. You all have a good day, and talk to you then. Bye-bye.